Before we get into the details of Micronaut, let's start our first project and get some hands-on experience. We are going to use the Micronaut launch website to bootstrap the first project. It is accessible through the Micronaut.io homepage by clicking the launch menu or going directly to the Micronaut.io/launch page. Micronaut launch allows us to choose the Micronaut version, the programming language, and the Java version. We are going to use Micronaut version 2 and Java 11. Other Java versions are also supported from 8 to 14. I am choosing a base package, and as project name I am using mn-stock-broker. More on that later. The test framework used is JUnit, and the build tool is Maven. Gradle is also supported as build tool. It is possible to use a bunch of Micronaut features. For our first project, we just need Netty as web server. I am opening the features dialog, and we can see a lot of features. By filtering by Netty, it's possible to select a feature. When pressing done, the Netty server is listed as included feature. We can then press the generate project button, and this will download a zip file. The zip file is downloaded to the downloads folder by default. I'm going to unzip it and open it with IntelliJ. You can use the development environment of your choice. When opening the project, all required dependencies are downloaded in the background, and then the project is ready to be used. The structure is straightforward, like we know it from many other Maven projects. We have an application class with a Java main method, and in there Micronaut.run, and the class name is called. So this will start up the Micronaut application. Additionally, we have an application.yaml file for configuration and a logback.xml for the login configuration. We also have an example test, and we can try to run the test to see if our setup is correct. So the compilation fails, it tells us invalid source release. So we need to go to File, Project Structure, and select the correct project SDK. It should be Java 11. Pressing OK will close it, and then we can rerun the test, and we see the test is now passing. Interestingly, the test executes very fast, and when rerunning the test, we see a similar result in the startup time of the test. Now let's dive a bit deeper into the dependency configuration. So let's inspect the POM XML. We see on top we have a parent configuration, which is set to artifact ID Micronaut parent and group ID Micronaut.io. The version 2 is configured. Then we see different properties. For example, we have JDK version 11 and the main class which we are executing, in our case the application Java class. There is a repository configured from jcenter.wintray, so make sure you have access to it, otherwise downloading the Micronaut dependencies will not work. Then in the dependency sections we see the configuration of all managed dependencies. Note that there is no version added because the version is managed by the Micronaut parent. We see the dependency configuration of Micronaut inject, HTTP server Netty, an HTTP client, the Micronaut runtime, and JUnit Jupyter and Micronaut test JUnit 5 for testing. Now let's create a simple Hello World example. We can do this by creating a new class called Hello World Controller. Micronaut relies heavily on annotations. A controller needs the annotation @controller and accepts one parameter, the path of the controller. Let's put in /hello here. Additionally, we are creating a method which will return hello world. So let's start by writing public string index, and then as content of the method we return a simple string with the content hello world. To make it an HTTP GET endpoint, we can add the annotation from Micronaut at GET and with a content /. So it will use the root controller endpoint, which is /hello. Then we can start the application and wait until the startup completed message appears. The server is running by default on port 8080. So let's go to the browser and open localhost 8080. We see the message page not found, as on the root level no endpoint is registered. We added the endpoint /hello, so we need to add hello to the endpoint, and then our hello world is printed. So our endpoint works as expected. Very cool. By adding one simple method and an annotation, we created a REST API endpoint using Micronaut.